How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with OG status in the old hazy can format in the form of Paulaner Brewing Company. It is the Hefe-Weizen natural wheat beer. I have not had this beer in freaking forever, but Paulaner sent off a couple cans because they're like, hey, we're putting stuff in these trendy 16-ounce cans. My words, then theirs, and they're like, we would like to know what you think about them, so I will drink them. I'm always been a fan of Paulaner. I talked about this in the other one. They sent me the Marzen. These will probably go up the same day. I've always been a fan. It's been one of my staple beers to where you're out and about. You can't, I don't want to say get anything good because I believe it's a good beer by, by typical standards. Maybe not the new school hazy people standards, but it's one of those ones that you can typically find. Other than that, let's see what else do we have on this can. Do we have an ABV? It is 5.5. It's a natural wheat beer, imported by Paulaner USA, White Plains, New York. Done and done. Yeah, so Paulaner. Not necessarily the glass you would typically drink a wheat beer out of, but it is the glass that I have. It might be the glass that you need. Even the one you didn't even know you needed. Label-wise, I dig it. I can get down with it. It's old school, but it has that kind of new soul thing going on with the old kind of big 16-ounce can. So, traditional to a T, but cool enough to where it doesn't get lost on a shelf. What do we have in a beer here? Gigantic head. Partially my pour, but that's kind of a wheat beer's MO too. And it's a little bit darker than what I remember. I remember the hef being a bit lighter, has a bit more of an orange kind of color to it. And then you're talking about this 2 fingers of infinite gravity-defying creaminess. I mean, that's your wheat beer. Not, again, glasses, correct glasses be damned sometimes. Let's see if we can get a nose in this big-ass head. Bananas. That's just your 2AT kind of Hefe, spot on, no shit Sherlock kind of thing. It has this rich kind of banana ester to it. Soft wheat component, a nice sweetness to it, not much bittering to be found in there. There is a soft kind of, it's almost like a white pepper had a baby with coriander kind of thing going on. But she smells nice, smells drinkable. Smells classic to a T, and very inviting, and not very aggressive or overpowering in any sense. I've talked about this before with wheat beers, but they're typically my go-to gateway beer for a lot of people. If people are kind of going to me being like, hey, how do I get into craft beer? Kind of lead them through the wheat beer door. That's kind of typically what is the least jarring or offensive for people, and that's where this one kind of lands for me. It gives me what I want in a Hefe. It gives me banana out the wazoo, that soft coriander pepperiness, and at the same time enough sweetness to kind of keep me happy, but not. I'd like a little bit of bittering. I mean, I know that's not traditional BJCP kind of craziness, but I'd like a little bit of soft bittering to bounce off a little bit of that sweetness. But she smells pretty tasty, a little bit almost like lactose laden. Because of how creamy it comes out, not necessarily that has a big pop of vanilla. We're just going to dive in. Cheers. Yeah, it kind of follows through suit again to a T. The yeast comes off a little bit drying. That's a nice addition, considering there's not a big bittering component to it. It adds something to grasp onto outside of that sweetness. It does come off a bit sweet, but not necessarily as sweet as you think it would based off of the nose. Yeah, soft, silky, creamy mouthfeel to it. Bananas for days. That soft kind of coriander vibe going on in there. Super drinkable. Super tasty, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, you're talking about your classic German style kind of hefts, and this is kind of up there on the Mount Rushmore, and it's there for a reason. It does come off a little bit less wheat driven and more kind of that banana estery thing. I would like a little bit of that wheat coming forward to give me a little bit more wheat vibes. Grasp on something outside of how big that banana is. Is that how it's trended over the years? I remember it being a little bit more of a wheat beer as opposed to that super yeast forwardness, but it's damn tasty. And like I said, it kind of like a staple of something that you kind of go to when you can't find anything else. I'm not relegating it to that realm. You know, if I landed in Germany or I'm out and about in a golf course in those kind of settings, these are typically the beers I want to kind of drink. But I'm not going to lie, I've had better wheat beers. And this one, while tasty and delicious and classic, by all means, just is a little bit leaning too heavily on the banana, a little bit too heavily on the wheat for me to kind of go gaga for. But all in all, it's a pretty damn tasty beer. Give it one last sip. Super drinkable. Yeah, just want something else to bounce off that banana combination for the sweetness in order for me to have it kind of go up a notch. But all in all, tasty stuff, classic. It's one of those things like, poop on your Starbucks, poop on your fast food. Those are staples when you're around the world. You know you're going to get something consistent. Paulaner is kind of that beer. And it's elevated above that because it's not a Bud, it's not a Heineken. It's definitely a more kind of upper, it's an upper level than those. But tasty stuff nonetheless. Just, I had better. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's talk about it. It's one of the better wheat beers I've had as of late. Definitely still worthy of being in a conversation. Maybe towards the bottom, worthy of being in a conversation. Value and availability, it's Paulaner. More times than not, you can find it for a relatively cheap price point, and it's pretty much available everywhere. Not sure about the cans, but they're going to be out there and leave you with, if you like, what will you like this beer? If you like wheat beers, if you like that whole banana vibe that you typically get from Hefes, this is going to do you proper, without a doubt. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully. There it is. You guys are enjoying a little Paulaner right now. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.